Now, the only evening news for all of Florida. This is Florida Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Donna Davis. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Gordon Graham. The top story in Florida tonight, a well-known Orlando attorney is taking on Bridgestone Firestone to the tune of $1 billion.
Willie Gary is filing the lawsuit on behalf of the surviving children of a Florida couple killed in a rollover accident. Adelio and Norma Herrera of Fort Lauderdale were killed when their 1997 Ford Explorer flipped. It happened on the Florida Turnpike in Martin County in May of last year. Now, the suit says the right rear wilderness tire peeled away. The lawsuit has been filed in Martin County on behalf of the Ramirez's son, Avelio, who was in the back seat with his wife and the couple's one-year-old son. Attorney Willie Gary now joins us by telephone. Bridgestone Firestone has yet to admit major flaws in its tires. How do you intend to prove the tires are faulty, Mr. Gary?
Well, you know, and that's a shame that they still to this day refuse to admit their wrongdoing. They've known about this since 1975. You're talking about over 25 years. And they killed a lot of people because of they refused to put people over profits. And that's not right. And they're going to have to be taught a lesson that, I mean, you cannot treat the least of these, the little people, like that and get away with it. I mean, they'd rather just make the money as opposed to doing the right thing. And that's the only thing they understand, and that's why we've sued them for $1 billion. You know, we got to get their attention. They got to understand that they cannot, just continue to put profits over people.
Mr. Gary, how do you think Ford's latest recall of Bridgestone Firestone tires will affect the case? How realistic is a $1 billion lawsuit?
Well, it's very realistic, and if you don't believe that, you ask the Lowen Group and you ask Disney World. You know, when you do the wrong thing, then, the American jurors are going to make you pay for it. You know, for these people to repent after doing something for 25 years and making $100 billion is ridiculous. You know, it really is. And the only reason why they are recalling is because they got caught. They're not doing it because of their conscience. They're doing it because they flat out got caught. And you know what? If they're not stopped, then 10 years from now, we may be talking about the same thing, that we need Congress or we need the state of Florida to do something about this. And it's not right. What are you going to say to 174 families? You line up 174 caskets, and you put those families there, and you tell them that Ford is doing a recall, and are they happy or are they satisfied? Hey, that's ridiculous.
Well, we will see how this all comes out. Thanks so much for joining us today, Willie Gary.
Thank you for having me.
You may remember a major fire destroyed parts of the Carlton Reserve in Sarasota County back in April. It was one of the most damaging fires in the Bay Area this year. It burned more than 5,000 acres, destroyed one home, and damaged the personal property of several other residents. Our broadcast partner in Tampa, WFLA, has been investigating to find out why this fire grew out of control and why contractor Mitchell Welch, seen here at the site of that fire, was hired to do the prescribed burn. Welch was cited for letting the controlled burn out of control and had been cited for other burn violations in the past. We have details about the state's investigation into that fire. At 11:14 in the morning of April 17th, the Myakka River District received a fax from the Forest Protection Bureau. The fax advised suspension of burn authorizations because of windy conditions. At 1 in the afternoon, park personnel drove out to the site to talk with Mitchell Welch about the suspension. They say Welch knew about it, but was going to continue. Park officials then left the scene. At 2:48, a pilot from the Division of Forestry reported seeing a vehicle burning. The report indicates that Mitchell Welch never reported the fire as out of control.
And still more fire trouble. It's a homeowner's nightmare. A fire right in your backyard just inches away from your home. Well, it's just what these homeowners faced yesterday as a massive blaze crept close to these homes in the Town and Country area of Hillsborough County. But a quick response by County Fire and Rescue saved many homes. The fire got so close to some homes, firefighters say they were only minutes away from going up in flames.
They said, you know, they got here quick enough because it would have just gotten all of these houses right here. There's about 4 houses where the fire went all the way up right to the back wall, and they got it under control.
It took firefighters nearly 2 hours to put the brush fire out. Investigators are still trying to determine the cause.
Well, it was just what many people in Pinellas County were hoping for, a good soaking rain. But yesterday's rain was not good news for everyone. The pounding rain was too much for the roof of this house. The homeowner was having some construction work done, but the heavy rain was heavy enough to collapse the roof. For a while, the homeowner was trapped underneath the rubble.
It's typical summertime weather, sudden intense thunderstorms, and they popped up around several areas of the state yesterday. Severe weather hit in northern Florida and also parts of the Bay Area last night. Now, this was a scene in Polk County. Hard winds ripped business signs from their post. The storm also knocked power out for some 7,000 residents in the Winter Haven area for about 45 minutes.
Well, I think those sudden those summer thunderstorms are going to be pretty much of a routine for the next few days. Yes.
That's right.
And of course, we'll find out just how long they'll last from Joe Weisman in the Weather Center. Joe?
Yeah, Gordon and Donna, we need the rainfall. We're getting the rain, but we don't need severe thunderstorms, and we certainly don't need flooding. And once again, in Pinellas County, we had a little bit of both. In fact, there's an urban flood advisory in effect until 7:30 tonight for southern Pinellas County. And so far, over the last couple hours, we've seen rainfall rates in excess of 2 inches an hour and reports of flooding along U.S. Highway 19 through Pinellas County, and also flooding in downtown St. Pete. Radar indicates that it's still raining and raining heavily over Pinellas and the western part of Pasco County. Much of that activity, though, beginning to work its way into the Gulf of Mexico, but we're still seeing a lot of flooding on the street. Into North Florida we go. Severe thunderstorm warnings for western Clay, southern Bradford until 7:30, and just like last night, clusters of showers and thunderstorms, some of those, of course, severe, especially east of I-75. There's a lot more going on across the state, and we'll also take a quick look at the tropics, all coming up in a few minutes. But first, we go back to the news desk.
Thanks, Joe. Well, the investigation continues into a Tampa police shooting. It happened early Sunday morning. Investigators say 18-year-old Jamal Davis died during a shootout with police. Officers say Davis was driving a stolen car. Officer Terry Ash shot Davis after he says Davis fired 2 shots at him. Authorities say Davis used another officer's gun he picked up during a struggle.
Well, the Coast Guard managed to catch a fast boat just south of Cuba during the weekend, and the boat was carrying 3,000 pounds of marijuana. The marijuana and 5 suspects are now in custody. And at the Port of Miami yesterday, agents confiscated nearly 4,000 pounds of drugs. They say the drugs, which were found in cargo containers that came off the MV Kronenborg Friday night. Before arriving in Miami, officials say the ship stopped in Antigua and Jamaica. Now, this marijuana alone has a street value of close to $4 million. Still on the subject of drugs, Florida voters may be deciding whether drug users should be treated as patients or criminals.
But as Scott Talon reports, critics say treating them as patients would lead to more drug use and more crime.
Marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and other drug use would be decriminalized if Florida voters agree. The same group who successfully passed the plan in California want Florida voters to change the state constitution.
Get your hands out in front of you.
If passed, first and second-time drug users could choose drug treatment instead of prison. Drug counselor Barbara Kavanaugh warns the war on drugs hasn't worked.
If nothing changes, nothing changes. If it keeps going the way it's going, it's only going to get worse. And we're going to need more jails.
But Florida's drug czar isn't high on the plan.
I've taken a hard look at this, hoping to see some good in it, but I've actually found none. It's rather alarming. What it does de facto is it makes all drug use legal.
If a drug user is also charged with theft or a violent crime, they wouldn't have the option for treatment. Drug czar McDonough doesn't care. He's concerned the plan would create more problems.
More crime, lots more crime, because you have just sanctioned drug use. Secondly, less treatment.
A majority of Americans believe that drug use should be treated as a disease, not as a crime, but that doesn't mean there's widespread support for across-the-board legalization.
I think they should go to jail and serve some time and get treatment also.
People do make mistakes the first time, but I think after the first time you should learn your lesson.
Since taking office, Governor Jeb Bush has increased drug treatment funding by 1/3, but he's against this idea.
I'm very, very wary of it. I will oppose the initiative.
Supporters are gathering signatures for a possible 2002 vote. In Tallahassee, Scott Talon, Florida's News Channel.
The plan is being put forward by the Campaign for New Drug Policies. Their headquarters are in Miami, and organizers say they've collected about 35,000 signatures of the almost 500,000 they'll need to put it on the ballot.
Police say surveillance video caught a woman in the midst of a brazen burglary in Tampa overnight. First, she smashed a window at a Circle K store. As you can see, once inside, the woman began filling a bin with items off the store's shelves. Police say she got away with a number of cartons of cigarettes, lighters, and some coins. If you have any information about the woman in this video, you were asked to contact the Tampa police.
An old Jacksonville inn has seen its last day. A 6,000-pound wrecking ball knocked down the Metro Inn a few hours ago. The hotel has been a troublesome spot in the neighborhood for years. Police say it was a haven for drugs and prostitution. There are no plans for the space right now.
Just can't get enough of a building demolition. It's always fun to watch.
It's always a fascinating thing to watch.
Well, there's a decidedly feminine touch to the state capitol this week. Hundreds of teens are making the rounds of local, county, and state government. It may be the start of something very big.
And gassing and dashing. It's a problem as long as gas prices remain high and police are almost powerless to stop this ripoff that affects all of us.
Tallahassee news and weather when you want it. This is Florida's News Channel, brought to you exclusively by Comcast.
They clean your house, polish your floors, shine your furniture, correct your errors, and can kill your kids. The everyday household products your kids are sniffing to get high have always been right under your nose, too. Talk to your kids about the dangers of sniffing.
Does your insurance cover this? Or this? What about this? It's hurricane season in Florida. Are you ready? Experts say we'll see more hurricanes this year than last year.
Find out how you can be ready.
Gordon Graham and Donna Davis reveal what you can do now to protect your home, both physically and financially. Get ready for hurricane season. Don't wait till it's too late. Watch Season of Risk, Friday night at 6, only on Florida's News Channel.
Do you need to learn how to operate a computer? Hi, I'm John Scherer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. You know, our product is quick and it's easy to learn with, and you can try it for free. You know, over the years, millions of people have learned how to operate their computer using our product. We get happy letters every day from people thanking us. But the most rewarding thing for me is having people stop me on the street and telling me how easy it was to learn with our product. If you just want to learn how to run a computer once and for all, save yourself a lot of time and energy, try our product. Let me show you how simple this is. You put this CD in your CD tray, the lesson plays right on your computer. It works just like a VCR. Just follow the step-by-step instruction. I'm so confident this product will work for you, I'm going to send it to you free. The reason I'm going to do this is because I know once you try our product, you'll come back to us for all your computer learning needs.
Call 1-800-820-9188.
It's amazing how sharing can really raise your spirits. Take time to connect with someone in your life, and if you don't have someone, Big Brothers Big Sisters can help. Hello? I was just gonna call.
And welcome back. Mixed close for stocks after a strong opening to the session. There are plenty of worries about the profit picture, and that has made caution the rule on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 48 points to 10,596. The Nasdaq Composite managed to end a 7-day losing streak with a modest 4-point gain, slacking off dramatically from its earlier strength and ending at 1,992.
That slumping stock market is one reason the Sarasota School District is taking a creative approach to raising money. It hopes some non-traditional advertising will offset a multi-million-dollar deficit. In 1999, school officials discovered they faced a $25 million deficit over the next 2 years. And program cuts and increased class sizes helped cut that to just over $4 million. But now the school board wants to sell ad space on more than 100 vans and trucks. If it works, officials say it could help prevent cuts in art and sports programs.
300 female high school juniors are in the state capitol this week learning about government. Governor Jeb Bush spoke to members of Girls State. The organization brings top students to Tallahassee to learn about local, county, and state government.
One of them grew up to be my chief of staff, and my previous chief of staff, and my inspector general, and my chief legal counsel. I'm proud of the fact that in my life there are more women in positions of responsibility in the office of the governor and the cabinet, and you'd be surprised how many of them were Girls State participants. I think it's a tribute to this great organization.
I'm hoping to go into Senate or international relations or in that type of field, so this is just an amazing opportunity for me.
The American Legion is the main sponsor for Girls State. This is the 54th year of Girls State here in Florida.
And good for them.
Yeah,
they had nice weather in Tallahassee today for
what a
getting
great
together.
day for their visit.
Yeah, a little
Not
bit of
everywhere.
sun. Unfortunately, the rain's coming down too heavily in some areas. You know, we need the rainfall, don't need the severe weather, don't need the flooding, but that's what you're going to get in the month of June when that summertime weather really kicks in. Well, temperatures right now are mainly in the 80s. We have some cooler areas across the state with some 70s. Let's take a look at those temperatures. There they are. Some areas in the 70s like St. Pete. Earlier you were in the 80s, but the rains came, the floods came, and now you're down to just 74 in St. Pete. Other places like Tallahassee, which incidentally you've got some thunderstorms to your west and southwest, you're now at 83. It's in the 70s in Jacksonville, 83 in Daytona Beach. Rain has cooled things down in Fort Myers. You're only at 78. And down in Key West, it's a toasty 85. As we look at our satellite picture, no doubt there's something going on, especially right along the Gulf Coast, right up the I-75 corridor. As those sea breezes collide over the spine of the peninsula, you get those showers and thunderstorms, and they've been hit hard in Pinellas County. You know, you've seen some very heavy rains, as you have in western Pasco, northern Hillsborough. In fact, until 7:30 in southern Pinellas County, there's an urban flood advisory. So far, we've seen rainfall rates between 1 and 2 inches per hour, with some flooding along U.S. Highway 19 and also some flooding reported in downtown St. Pete. There is some good news. Some of that activity now beginning to work its way into the Gulf, but we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect till 7:30 in Union and Bradford counties. And about 24 hours ago, we had the showers and thunderstorms in the very same place. So watch out right along U.S. Highway 301 as you approach Interstate 10 from the south. Also, some thunderstorms beginning to work their way into Leon County right around the Tallahassee area. We've got a trough of low pressure in the northern part of the state, and of course the sea breezes. We can always depend on that for showers and thunderstorms, and the atmosphere is very moist and unstable. So today is a very typical June day. Let's check out the tropics. We've been watching this tropical wave moving past the Leeward Islands, and it has really lost what organization it had. And over the next couple days, really not expecting anything of consequence as far as the tropics go. Tomorrow, expect showers and thunderstorms with the daytime highs right around the 90-degree mark, give or take a degree or two. And speaking of 90s, we have a lot of that right now. Temps into the 80s and 90s all the way into, well, much of the Midwest. 106 right now in Phoenix. And if you're keeping score, summer officially begins at 3:38 in the morning coming up on Thursday. But who needs a calendar, because it already feels a lot like summer out there with the heat, the humidity, and of course, all the storms out there.
A little sailboat might have seen some lightning out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, Sarasota's gas prices are lower than the state average, but that is not stopping some drivers from not paying for their gas.
In the last couple of weeks, petty thieves have struck in record numbers. Jackie Barron takes a closer look at why police have little power to stop people from gassing and dashing.
7 times in 11 days, someone stole gas from here.
And it happens anytime during the day.
Most gas stations require you to pay before you pump. But for those that don't, that kind of faith costs money.
It makes me mad.
All total, the thieves took more than $100 worth of gas from dash in, dash out.
It fits. They do dash in and dash out.
Would-be customers turned crooks also ripped off 3 other stations. In one case, taking less than $3 of gas under signs charging $1.53 per gallon.
How far can they go?
far enough that we can't catch them.
Yeah, they can get out of the parking lot.
Police reports detail the crime, but a lack of information and no tag number usually brings the casework to a screeching halt.
It's not right to steal at all. It's not right. End of story.
You're not sticking it to the gas company. You're sticking it to the employees and the people that have to deal with it.
Some cities simply refuse to investigate gas drive-offs, forcing business owners to install security cameras, make people pay inside, and generally think faster than thieves can steal. In Sarasota, Jackie Barron for Florida's News Channel.
Well, the Grammys are all about music, the sweet sound of music. And in Miami, that pleasant sound is worth about $35 million. It's quite a big shot in the city's musical arm.
And coming up in sports, the Miami Hurricanes continue to celebrate their 4th College World Series title. George Ramirez has the latest from Party Central next in sports. We'll be back with Florida Tonight in a moment.
Tallahassee news and weather when you want it. This is Florida's News Channel, brought to you exclusively by Comcast.
Florida Lottery. You never know. The Florida Lottery. What's your dream?
It's Rays ball. Catch it at the drop when the Rays take on Pedro Martinez and the Boston Red Sox. Wednesday night and Thursday night at 7:15. Wednesday is a website Wednesday. Log on to devilrays.com and print out a great ticket deal to the game. For tickets and info, call us toll free at 888-FAN-RAYS. Rays ball. Be part of it.
If you're tired of ending up in the rough when you've worked hours and hours on your game, if you've invested a fortune in equipment trying to improve and still can't lower your score, the most frequently misdiagnosed problem in golf is poor alignment to the target and incorrect ball position in the stance. No matter what your handicap, with a line drive, the cure is automatic. A line drive provides you with proper alignment to the target and places the ball where pros position it. No matter how good your swing or how low your handicap, if you're misaligned or ball position is wrong, the ball won't go towards the intended target. A line drive is lightweight and portable. It fits easily in your golf bag and assembles in seconds. 3 shaft positions cover all clubs used, all woods and long irons, mid irons and wedges. Call now and get a line drive for less than the cost of an afternoon of golf. You can't do more for less. Get a line drive for just $29.95. The results will remove any doubt. A line drive comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee. Plus, if you order your line drive now, we'll send you a second for less than half price. Call now.
Tallahassee news and weather when you want it. This is Florida's News Channel, brought to you exclusively by Comcast.
Welcome back to Florida Tonight. George Ramirez is here with sports.
Big celebration down in South Florida, and boy, what a reason to celebrate, huh?
That's right. Certainly, you got to hand it to the Miami Hurricanes, how they went about their business and got the job done. Well, now it's just time to sit back and soak in all the sun and the fun down there in South Florida. Now, the Miami Hurricanes did indeed celebrate their 4th national championship last night at Mark-Light Stadium in front of thousands of fans. They turned out to see the Canes, who just a couple of days earlier made the Lakers streak of 14-1 in the postseason, look easy. Miami posted an undefeated mark during the Regional, Super Regional, and College World Series. Their 52 wins were the most during the Jim Morris era, and another team like this may be hard to come by in Coral Gables. That's why for the seniors, the celebration was bittersweet, knowing their run has come to an end.
You know, it's my last time probably walking on Mark Lake Stadium really as a true Hurricane baseball player. You know, I'm going to cherish it for a lifetime. I'm making sure I get it on video camera, and, you know, I'm going to enjoy every moment, especially with these guys. I'm going to enjoy everything about it.
I got pretty emotional, you know, after the game, you know, knowing that, you know, it could be the last time I see some of these guys, and, you know, I'll never forget all of them. I mean, I'll remember them for the rest of my life.
Certainly, congratulations are in order once again. Now over to Gainesville, where just a couple of weeks after naming a new baseball coach, the Gators have served and volleyed with a new tennis coach, and he comes over from the same school. Mississippi State coach Andy Jackson will lead the men's tennis team as of next season. He replaces Ian Duvenhage, who was fired after a 9-17 season. Jackson led the Bulldogs for 13 years, compiling a record of 220 wins, 106 losses, and Pat McMahon also came over from the Bulldogs to coach the Gator baseball team just a couple of weeks ago. Now the Tampa Bay Bucks had a very busy Monday. They not only released cornerback Alex Ardley after a DUI charge in Tallahassee, but also found a successor to Jerry Angelo, who spent the last 15 seasons as the Bucks director of player personnel. Tim Ruskell, who was the Bucks director of college scouting the last 10 years, takes a job transfer. Ruskell gets a lot of credit for helping build Tampa Bay's deep roster into a championship team.
I think you've seen that the backbone of our personnel has come through our college scouting, has come through the draft. That's what we've always focused on. That's what we will always focus on.
Now the Florida Marlins will look to make it 2 straight over the Atlanta Braves at the bottom of the hour after a come-from-behind win last night to draw to within 1 of Atlanta in the standings. Chuck Smith gets to start for the Fish, going up against Jason Marquise. Meanwhile, the Devil Rays are coming off a much-needed night off after getting swept by the Marlins over the weekend. Tampa is taking on Boston in the first of 3. Brian Ricard is on the mound for the Rays, taking on the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. Now, after 2 MVP awards, 2 Gold Gloves, 11 fielding records, 18 consecutive All-Star appearances, over 400 homers and 3,000 hits, and oh, by the way, 2,632 consecutive games played, Cal Ripken is calling it a career. The Iron Man, who grew up an Orioles fan and was drafted by Baltimore, held a news conference today to say he's hanging it up at the end of this season. And more baseball news. Hall of Famer Ted Williams has left the San Diego hospital today after open heart surgery in January. Williams will continue his rehab closer to home in Gainesville, where he will be admitted to Shands Hospital at the University of Florida. And getting back to Ripken, all the records are just amazing. He played 21 seasons. He's calling it a career, a future Hall of Famer indeed.
And quite a career, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks. Well, the Latin Grammys are coming to Miami in September, and some entertainers will be big winners.
But promoters say South Florida's economy will actually be the biggest winner. The event is expected to bring in $35 million. That's nearly twice the amount made by its Los Angeles show last year. That's because promoters say the Miami show is expected to draw twice as many tourists. Organizers say as many as 15,000 people will pour into Miami, each spending about $450 a day for 4 to 5 days.
All right. We thank you for joining us tonight on Florida Tonight. I'm Gordon Graham.
And I'm Donna Davis. For Joe Weisman, George Ramirez, and the rest of the news team, we're glad you could join us.